I'm sitting down today here with Francisco Reyes, who is a local artist here in Fort Wayne. So Francisco, can you explain a little bit about the inspiration behind Wrecklords and the events that you put on?
So Wrecklords was started by me and a couple friends to kind of encompass all of the stuff we do within subcultures. So like I hang out with a lot of breakers, like b-boys, breakdancing, MCs, DJs, graffiti writers, and I had just started like screen printing myself, and I'd always wanted to take like the graffiti art that I do and transition it into screen printed apparel and clothing. We were doing breaking sessions over here at Fryman Square. So we'd come in on Sundays, bring boom boxes, set up floors. Kids would just come out and break. And it was really cool because at first it was just like we were just going down there to hang out. We'd be like, hey, hit us up. We're down here with a boom box listening to music. And then it just became an established thing. And slowly it just kept growing. And then about 4 years ago, a few friends were able to establish legal walls, like permission walls. So like there's one along the greenway between the old fort and Lawton Park. We're like, cool, when you guys come in, we'll come out and we'll paint, and then we'll bring, boom boxes and stuff to that. Those events led to some park jams. I organized a park jam at Rock Hill, got a hold of all the friends I have who build and drive lowriders. Hit up a few other friends, they brought their sound systems. We had DJs come out. We had like older generation MCs come out and rap. We had Sankofa come out, and we also had some younger guys come out. So we had like kids that were like 16, 17 come out and rap. One DJ played Latin fusion stuff. Another DJ played house music. Another DJ came in and played drum and bass. You have all these kids running around everywhere. We had cellophane walls set up for people to paint. So people showed up, started spray painting. You've got cars all over. Then other cars found out about the lowrider show, so they brought all their custom trucks in. It's like we had like some artists come out and set up booths to sell stuff. We had like 500 people show up to Rock Hill Park. We didn't expect it to be that big. A friend of mine was like, I thought this was supposed to be a small event. People even like from the neighborhood nearby, they heard this sound and they came over on their bikes. I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, is it a private event? We're like, no, it's totally public. It's totally free. And they're just like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, why would you do this? And I'm like, you're looking at why. And that event is how I met Raina Bradley on the Public Arts Commission. I met her at the Cinema Center. I went there to talk to somebody about some t-shirts I was printing for them. Ran into Dan Schwartz from WonderCommer, and he goes, do you know Raina Bradley? And I was like, no. So he introduces me to her. We're talking about all kinds of art stuff. And she says, do you know anybody who does house music? And I was like, I'm having a park jam where one of the DJs is a house DJ. You should come out. She shows up to that, sees that, and goes, whoa, this is really cool. We should see more of this. We should do more of this. And she started plugging me to more people so that way I can spread the park jam idea. And while I was talking to them, they were organizing the master plan for the public art stuff. And I'm like, how do we get walls that are open to anyone to paint? And at one of the survey events they were doing, I met Nancy Stewart, and I was like, how would I go about talking to a business who has a wall in the neighborhood my mom lives in, where I can use the wall for permission murals? And she's like, well, what's the business? So I tell her who it is. And she goes, oh, I'm meeting with them next week. Send me a proposal. So I put together a proposal, sent it to her. She pushes it to them. They go for it. So that's how we got the first wall on Central.
That's a really cool origin story, how, it happened to be that you went to an event and were able to connect with other people and grow your network in order to get this kind of started and start the project officially with Fort Wayne Open Walls. And especially when you're trying to introduce something that maybe isn't mainstream culture either, and you're trying to showcase and connect people to a subculture.
Mm-hmm. And it's a subculture that already gets a lot of negative fanfare, like a negative media. Like, when people hear about graffiti, they don't ever hear about like, oh, this really cool piece went up or this whole production went up. It's like, oh, these kids tagged this or they vandalized that. When we first got the wall, we went in to prepare it because there's like debris and stuff. We cleaned all that up. Nobody says anything. I'm out there scraping this giant metal wall for some reason, right? Nobody asks why. But I'm scrape the wall, we prime it, pull out like a machine sprayer, spray the whole wall out. The moment I pull out a can of spray paint, the neighbors come over. You didn't care at all what we were doing up until the can of spray paint came out. There's other positive things happening in this culture. I mean, if you look at Brooklyn, that's why Bushwick is the art mecca that it is now, was because of graffiti writers and street artists. Like, they're the ones who changed that place and made other people want to come in. The best compliment I've received at any of those events was when somebody came up to me and they're like, wow, this was so cool. I didn't feel like I was in Fort Wayne. And I was like, you're welcome. Because like so many people were like, oh, I felt like I was in a different place. I'm like, do you know, if you support these things, we can do these things enough to where when people come here, they want to be here. And at some point, you don't have to feel like you're not here. When I moved here, I met so many people whose plan was to leave. They did not want to be here because we didn't have this or have that or have this or have that. And the thing that always got me is you could have that, but you have to build it. The benefit of that is you can build it without gates. You can make it exactly how you want it. You can edit it. You can tailor it. You can make it yours. I literally started writing graffiti because I felt like I wasn't connected. So when I see something I wrote, when I see something I painted, when I see something I put up, I know I'm there. I know I'm part of this place because I have put my mark on it.
Yes. Being able to carve out your own little piece of Fort Wayne and make it what you want to be. How else do you think it's impacting local artists and even the community?
Every time I'm over at the wall on Central painting, somebody stops and says, thank you.
What's the best way for someone who's interested in open walls to get involved?
You can message me on Instagram at Fort Wayne Open Walls. There's Fort Wayne Open Walls on Facebook. There's also a group if you want to join the group. I do plan this summer, as the warmth stays more consistent, on doing little events at each of the walls. So that way if people want to come out then, if they have questions they want to ask me directly, I'm totally about that. Or like on weekends, just come paint. I don't need to be there. You could just come paint the walls that are open.
Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation today and telling us more about your story and Fort Wayne Open Walls.
No, thank you for having me. This was fun.